everyone, welcome back. My name's Diana. This is my channel Bookish Di, and today I am doing something I don't normally do. I am making a TBR. So I am an extreme mood reader, and I mostly find that TBRs really don't work for me. I like just being able to pick up books as I feel like it, or as my library due dates are telling me what to prioritize. However, in the month of April, there are 2 readathons happening that I've participated in the past that I am planning on participating in again. And those are the Magical Readathon hosted by Book Roast and Tome Topple created by Sam on Thoughts on Tomes. So for those who don't know, the Magical Readathon takes place throughout the entire month of April. It's set on the secondary world Aurelium that G from the Book Roast has created, and the general sense of it is there's careers that you can pick, and each career has different qualifications. So in the spring term, you do kind of like the general requirements. There's one prompt for each subject. And then in the fall, there's the more advanced requirements where there are multiple prompts for each subject, and you have to achieve a certain level in the required subjects for your career. And then for Tome Topple, it's a 2-week readathon where you just read chunky books. So I've decided to combine, to a certain extent, my TBRs for this readathon, because Tome Topple happens like towards the end middle/end of the Magical Readathon, so it doesn't encompass everything, so I'm not going to be reading tomes for the entire thing. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's been a while since I've really done a readathon, and I ended up choosing prompts for all the different topics for the Magical Readathon just because I'm not quite sure what career I'm interested in, so I just decided to assign books for all the things, and I guess I'm just going to see which ones I end up filling and kind of choosing a career from there. So let's get into it. So first up, I'm just going to go through the Magical Readathon prompts that aren't related to Tome Topple. So first we have the Spells and Incantations class, and that is to read a collection of short stories or essays. And so for that, I am planning on reading Reclaim the Stars, edited by Zoraida Cordova. This is a YA Latinx short story anthology. It includes authors that I like and love, authors that are new to me, and I picked this up because I really want to support collections like these, and I'm very excited to finally get to it. The next class is Restoration, and that was to read a book with healers. And so for that, I am planning on Penrick's Mission by Lois McMaster-Bujold. This is the next book for where I am in the Penrick and Desdemona series. And this book follows Penrick, who has been taking a break from serving as a healer in the Mother's Order, to go on a rescue mission of some sorts. So Penrick is a healer due to his bond with the demon Desdemona, so I think that fits the bill for that particular prompt. Next is Elemental Studies, and the prompt for that is to read a book under 100 pages. So I am going to finally read A Dead Gin in Cairo by P. Jelly Clark. This is the short story that kicks off his like steampunk alternate universe or alternate history series that starts with A Dead Gin in Cairo that goes through to A Haunting in Tramcar 15, and then goes through the novel A Master of Gin. I have wanted to get into this universe for a while. I've liked other novellas by Clark that I've read, and so this is technically a short story, but it is under 100 pages, so I think it fits. After that is Lore, and that is to read a book inspired by mythology, and so for that I will do most likely Never Look Back by Lilian Rivera. This is a YA novel that is a retelling of the Orpheus and Eurydice myth. And I actually read a book by Lilian Rivera last year, and there were certain things that didn't work for me, but I don't know if it was just how that book was written or if it was the author. So I'm going to give this one a try and just see how I react to Rivera's writing in a slightly longer book and with slightly different goals, so I'm hopeful with this one. Following that, the next class is alchemy, and the prompt is read a book centering a romance, and so for that I will be reading Dating Dr. Dale by Nisha Sharma. This is a contemporary romance that is that was inspired by the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, which is honestly one of my favorite teen movies in existence. It is fantastic. And as soon as I heard that this book was forthcoming, I asked my library to buy it, and I currently have it checked out. So I think this will fit that prompt quite nicely. The prompt after that is artistry, which is to read a book set on Earth. And so for that, I'm going the nonfiction route, and I am planning on reading Fowl, The Secret World of FIFA by Andrew Jennings. This, I would classify it as a true crime book because FIFA is a hive of scum and villainy. So it's basically an expose written by an investigative journalist who has a history of uncovering corruption in sports. He did a lot of investigating into the Olympics, particularly the decision to reward Salt Lake City, the 2002 Winter Olympics. And he was one of the people prior to the indictments of FIFA in 2015, I believe, that was really looking into how corrupt the organization was. And I have been trying to read this book for a super long time, and I finally got it through interlibrary loan from my work. So I am incredibly excited to read this and to dig deep into how the organization governing soccer is truly terrible, but I already knew that. Next is Animal Studies, and that is a quick read, and I decided I will go back to the Penrick and Desdemona verse for this and read Mira's Last Dance. This is the novella after Penrick's mission, and it is short. It is like 150 pages, and especially if I end up picking this up on audio, like that's only a couple of hours, so very quick read. Yeah, I really like Penrick and Desdemona, so I'm glad I'm able to fit some of this in. Then there's Psionics and Divination, which is a book set in the future. So I decided to pick another one off of my books that I got last year and didn't read because of everything. So I'm doing The Devil That You Know by Kit Rocha. This is the second book in the Mercenary Librarians trilogy. I read the first one in 2020 and really enjoyed that. So it follows a band of community organizers / librarians who all have very specialized skills in the mercenary band they fall in love with. And so this centers on a cold sniper and a woman who remembers everything. So I think this will be very good. It is set in the future Atlanta. And yeah, looking forward to this. And the final book in the series is coming out this year. So again, I'm really trying to finish the series or catch up before book 3 comes out. And then the last non-Tome Topple affiliated book is for shapeshifting, which is to read a book with a creature with claws on the cover. So I will try and read The Story of Owen by E.K. Johnston, and it has a dragon with claws. So this centers on a young dragon slayer named Owen, and it is set in Canada, and it's basically, the blurb is, dragons in modern day North America. How can 16-year-old Owen fight back when he can barely pass algebra? Takes a village to train a dragon slayer, and Owen needs all the help he can get. So this was E.K. Johnston's first novel, and I really liked stuff that I've read from her, both in Star Wars and outside of Star Wars. And this has been on my radar for a while, so I'm really excited to finally, hopefully, pick it up. And then for the Tome Topple affiliated prompts, this is like where it gets very ambitious, and I honestly don't think I will actually be able to do this, but we will see. So the first for the Magical Readathon prompt Conjuration, which is to read a book with a source of light on the cover, as well as the Tome Topple prompt read a tome written by someone who doesn't identify as a man. That will be Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. As you can see, candles. So this is a book following twins Roger and Dodger and dealing with alchemy nonsense type thing. And I've had this book for a while. I've been meaning to read it for a while, and I'm hoping to finally get around to it, especially since the next book in I don't know, like the follow-up book, it's not necessarily a sequel, is coming out in May, and I want to try and finish this book before I pre-order that book, just because I know this book is a little polarizing. So there are some people who really love it, some people who don't. And as much as I love Shauna McGuire, I'm really trying to be better about my pre-orders this year. So this is kind of one of my priority books for Tome Topple. My other priority book for Tome Topple is for the Magical Readathon book Inscription, which is pick an intimidating read, as well as the Tome Topple Prompts for 5, a tome written by a BIPOC author, and as well as Prompt 12, which is to read a tome set in a non-European inspired setting, and that is The Grace of Kings. This book has been on my TBR for an incredibly long time. I don't think it will be up by the time I post this video, but I do have a list of books that I want to either read or unhaul in 2022, and this is on that list. Because this book, I think I've had this book since I lived in DC, actually. Let me double check the pub date. It's a very odd copy there. Yeah, I've had this book since I lived in DC, which was 6 years ago now. So it's been a while. This is my second highest priority on my Tome Topple TBR, and I really hope I can finally get to it. After that, I have the Tome Topple book, or I have the book for the demonology prompt, which is to read a book with shadow, as well as, sorry, I'm double checking, as well as Tome Topple prompt 13, which is to read a tome centering a romance, and that is Elle Penelope's Whispers of Shadow and Flame. This is the second book in her fantasy romance series, The Earthsinger Chronicles. So I'd actually read the first book in the series, Song of Blood and Stone, for Tome Topple in 2021, and I really liked it. And I had been meaning to pick this one up for a while, and I hadn't yet, so I'm hoping this is a good time. I remember it being the first book being a pretty quick read, so I'm hoping that's the same for this one, and we will see how it goes. But the prompt, or this book, is following an assassin and a revolutionary who are at odds with each other, and it's like kind of prequely concurrently with Song of Earth and Blood, so it's following a different group of characters. The next prompt for Magical Readathon is Astronomy, which is to read the book on top of your TBR, as well as Tome Topple Prompt 2, which is a sequel tome, and that is Hero the Ninth. So this has been something I have been meaning to read since 2020. I think this is when this came out. Yeah, this came out in 2020. And I haven't gotten around to reading it, but I have to read this book soon because Nona the Ninth comes out in September, and I cannot put off reading that book like I've put off reading Harrow. And then the last book in my Way Too Ambitious TBR is for the Magical Readathon prompt Art of Illusion, which is Your Favorite Trope. And then the Tome Topple prompt, which is 16, which is Tome with Your Favorite Cover. And so for that, I am doing Little Thieves by Margaret Owens. This has one of my favorite tropes, which is Be Queer, Do Crime. And I really love this cover. I think it's really kind of evocative, also a little kind of mysterious. And I've heard very, very good things about this. This is a retelling of The Goose Girl told from the point of view of the servant who steals the princess's life and identity. And it's basically, it's a beautiful day and you're a horrible goose girl. So again, this is something I've been looking forward to for a while. The author did some illustrations within the book as well, which I think is really cool. So this I think is honestly probably like lower on my priority list, but it's still something I'm really hoping I can get to during April. So that is my April TBR. It is incredibly ambitious. I don't think I will actually be able to read every single book on that list, but I'm going to do my best to get through as many as possible. I think it will help that I do have a number of shorter things on there, as well as some things that I know are going to be faster reads. So we'll see how this goes. I'm really excited. I haven't done, like I said, I haven't done a TBR in a really long time, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully knocking off some books that I've been meaning to read for a while off my list. So do any of these books sound interesting? Have you read any of these books, or are you planning on participating in any of these readathons? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm really looking forward to both of them. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hold on, we might have a cat cameo soon. Come on. There he is. We couldn't have a video without him showing up. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you next time. Bye.